The Anti in Politics and Elsewhere. By Daniel de Leon. As the dirt is rattling down on the coffin of the People's Party and the mourners are wiping the last glistening tear from their whiskers, it is a good time to glance at the rise, growth and downfall of the late lamented, and to discover the reason of its upspringing and down-tumbling. The Anti in Politics has his counterpart in business, his cousin german, as it were. As loudly as the Anti this, or that, or both, old parties shouts in politics, his voice cannot drown the equally loud shout of the antitrust gentleman. These Antis have a common origin. Their career is run along lines very much alike, and their finish is exactly the same: swallowed, gulped down, engulfed, benevolently assimilated by the very enemy they affected to fight. In business, the Anti starts out with a flourish of flags and a blowing of trumpets, proclaiming that he is consecrated to the task of knocking the everlasting stuffing out of some trust, which has been playing havoc with the business of its one-time competitors. For a while the din is so terrible that the dupes who are lured to the support of this, not made by the trust-smashing Anti cannot hear themselves thinking. However, the role which they are to enact is not a thinking part. They are simply, and the more simply the better, to buy stock in the cooperative, or other concern which the Anti forms to fight the trust with, and into which he draws all those who refused to go into the trust. Then comes a period of bluster and bluff, and then the Anti sells out his plant to the trust. The capers of the Anti-American Tobacco Trust Company are yet fresh in the mind. Just so with the political Anti. He beats the loud tom-tom of revolt against the corrupt old party, rallies the foes of the machine, carries on a campaign of meaningless noise for a longer or shorter period, then peters out and drops into the maw of the very party he pretended to have torn away from to fight. In the period immediately preceding the downfall of a social system, the most grotesque figures appear and perform all sorts of vagaries. They are but a reflex of the intellectual bankruptcy of a class that totters to its fall and clutches at every shadow which cunning rogues cast across its path to befool it. People's party movements, municipal ownership schemes, antitrust crusades, cooperative colony swindles are only the mocking answer which the swindler in politics and business returns to the swan song of the small producer and the little businessman, the middle class. In politics and in business, the Anti is only the camp follower who pillages the wounded.